concern about Christian McCaffrey's knee injury listing, or is it more precaution?
It's more precaution. There's no concern.
Ron, was Curtis something that popped up in the game from a tough shot, or is that something that cropped up the past couple of days?
No, it happened in the game. It's the one he laid out on the sideline. Hit the ground pretty hard trying to make, a big catch.
Obviously, Greg Little is still progressing through the concussion protocol, but good to see him out there, I would imagine.
Yes, it was. It's all part of the protocol that he's in and part of the steps that he has to take. So, and I agree with you. It was good to see him out there moving around.
All good with Mario, Ron.
Yeah, in very difficult circumstances, you guys. So.
Ron, for Cam, we've seen him out there last week going through his process, and as you said multiple times, he's still going through his rehab. Is today just keep him out of the weather?
Yep,
Is that
keep him
more
out of the weather, keep him inside where he did his rehab today.
I think a lot of people assumed with the bubble that anytime there was any moisture or heat or cold, you'd be inside, but that hasn't been the case. Do you want to get a feel for?
We did. We did a couple of our primary run periods outside, and then when we started throwing the ball, we went inside. So we took advantage of the little bit of a window we had. We were able to get through, most of our install. We got through our individual, our special teams, and then our 2 run periods.
With guys like Curtis and Jarius missing practice today, you get a chance to see some of the depth wide receivers. What are you seeing from them, whether it's Brandon or Greg?
Well, when you get an opportunity to watch Brandon, he's a guy that's still learning and still trying to understand, our scheme and how we do things. He's talented. He really is. You do see that, the young man has an opportunity to I think to play in this league. Got a chance to watch DeAndrew White a little bit more. DeAndrew had a really good training camp. That's why he made the practice squad. And then that's why we also activated him, because he did some really good things on special teams. And he played really well at the very end against the Steelers. Had a real big game. Got a chance to watch Greg a little bit more, and we put him out there to catch some punts in the bad weather. He actually did a pretty good job. So, building a little confidence in his ability as we go forward with him.
Ron, I saw Brian Burns working with Everett a little bit one-on-one. Was that more normally scheduled technique work, or is that working with the club and learning how to deal with it?
A little bit of both. A little bit of talking about some of the technique stuff that he's got to continue to refine, but also just trying to get him confident with the hand in the club, in the cast to protect it. So, again, just want to make sure he's comfortable. I mean, it was watching the tape. There were some things that were tough for him, and so we're trying to help him get used to it.
You were talking about the receivers. How would you assess sort of where DJ and Curtis are at this point in their?
Well, I think they're young guys that are developing and growing. I mean, they're second and third year players that are learning their skill set. They're learning our offense. For Curtis, it's he's just like DJ. This is their second year in this new system. They're learning how to do things, and that's what's going to happen with young guys now. You get guys that, have to take steps and develop and continue to grow, and so feel pretty good about the young guys that we have right now.
Understanding there's a lot of other factors at play. Curtis had one of those games Sunday where he's targeted a bunch and didn't have but a few catches. Was that indicative of a lot of different things, or?
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, it's. Not necessarily the passes were on target or the timing was off. I know there were 2 deep balls that the passes weren't where they needed to be. There was a sideline ball that was way over his head, so that's 3 right there that you could take off and take from his targets and say, okay, those 3 didn't exist because they weren't chances for him to really truly catch the ball.
Ron, as far as
you had Shaq a few weeks ago, and now Mario dealing with the death of his brother. As a coach, how do you deal with those things?
Well, from personal experience, first of all, I went through it in 2015, and the hard part is your grieving process is very limited. I unfortunately only had one day. The hard part was I was only there very briefly for my parents, for my brothers, for my brother's widow. That was tough. And so same thing for Shaq. I mean, it's a very limited time, and then we had to get him back, and Mario's unfortunately in the same situation. So, you try to be there. You constantly, you reach out with positive messages of support. And that's all you can do. I mean, these are young men that are dealing with these types of situations that are very difficult. And you're never ready for it. I can promise you that much. You know, even though you know it may be coming, it's looming over the horizon, but you're never prepared. So all we can do is, you know, is let them know that we're thinking of them, we support them, we're praying for them, and we're here for them. And then when they do get back, you know, you've got to rally around them, which has really been one of the kind of the neat things that I've watched for Shaq. The guys that have all come up and tried to be there for him, and we're going to do the same thing for Mario. I mean, you know, he's been a big part of what we've done, the success we've had, and the success we're having. So, you know, he's most certainly is missed, and we most certainly do think about him and pray for his family.
Mario's is a little different just because of the nature of what happened to his brother. Is that
Well, a loss is a loss, okay? And that's all I can say about on that. I don't want to get too far into it, David. I mean, you know, the circumstances are what they are, but nonetheless, it's a loss.
Just to go back to Brian, are there any other options or alternatives besides the club? Did you do anything to protect the hand?
Not play. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. I mean, it's one or the other. And he's a young man that's given us all he has. I mean, it's a difficult type of injury because you use your hands so much, you know, that we have to be careful of it. We have to be smart. And you know, quite honestly, and I told this to Brian, you know, just watching how he was, that's why his snaps were limited. You know, you got to be careful with it.
Isn't it extra frustrating that that's a self-inflicted injury?
No, an injury is an injury. And his was out of frustration more than anything else. He went in and blocked a punt, and unfortunately it went forward, and he was disappointed it went forward. I'm not going to fault the kid for being emotional out there and, you know, wanting to do things and make things happen for his team to win. No, I'm not going to.
How important, though, is that process of learning how to step back a little bit and know when you need to rest and rehab and things like that?
It's very important because, again, it's sometimes, you know, guys push themselves through things that they shouldn't, and other times they need to learn how to. You know, we have a little bit of a saying, you've got to know the difference between being hurt and pain. You know, sometimes being hurt, there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes you can play through certain types of pain. And, you know, whether it's a twisted ankle or slight twist, you know, wrist or something like that. But, you know, you have to be smart because sometimes you hurt the team.
I'm impressed if someone already asked this, but what's your passionate opinion on candy corn?
On candy corn?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a candy corn guy. Not a candy corn guy. You know, the hard part is you know, in the neighborhood, the kids know who we are, so we have to give out the really good candy bars. And then you got to keep an eye on them because some of them will take their masks off and come back and get seconds. So, yeah. So Stephanie, we give out the full-sized ones, and I don't expect to see any of you there.
Hey, Ron, back to Brian Burns for a second. What were you talking to him about today before he kind of broke off?
That was pretty much it. You know, about understanding and knowing how to and letting us know. I mean, because it's difficult. I mean, you want to be there and help your teammates out as much as you can. I really appreciate that. You know, because he's sacrificed. You know, he decided to have him club his hand, and he tried to go out and play with it. And I said, you know, if it's difficult, you got to let us know. I mean, we got to know how you feel so we can help you as well. And he really appreciated that. I mean, he's such a good young player, and the more we can help him learn and grow and understand, I think the better he's going to be. And I really do think he can have a very good career here as a Panther for a long time.
Obviously, we know about technique in terms of pulling and trying to use his hands and not catching that on certain things. But is there a specific example of a technique item that really would be difficult to execute with a club?
Exactly what you said, being able to grab and pull. I mean, as a rusher, as an outside linebacker, you have to use your hands. Your hands are as vital as any other position, but as an outside guy who plays on the edge, you've got to be able to, you know, jam that guy and extend. And, you know, if you hit that wrist just the wrong way, you know, I could only imagine. I mean, I was fortunate I didn't have that kind of an injury. It could be tough. And like I said, we really appreciate the fact that he got back out there and wants to do it, wants to play.
On Monday, you said Dennis is our best option at left tackle right now. What is it about him, one, that gives you the confidence in that, and two, why is he the best option right now?
Because of his athleticism. He's a big guy with got tremendous athleticism, very smart young man, very bright young man, passionate about playing the game. He's got a stoutness about him, too, that goes very well with athleticism, especially at the left tackle position when a big guy tries to bull you. You know, it was tough. You know, it was kind of a tough situation because he really only had one really good day of practice. And then because he missed the part of Tuesday, and then he missed all of Wednesday. So that was hard on him. But again, we still feel he's a young guy that can help us, and right now we do think he's our best option at left tackle.
When some of these other guys like Greg start coming back, how do you sort of juggle that whole mix of guys? Because there are so many right now.
Well, what's really happening is if you watch, well, you guys don't get to see it, unfortunately, but, well, thank goodness. But when you watch the way we rotate our guys in practice during training camp, it's the same thing. Coach Masco does that. He and Travell try to make sure that the young guys are getting opportunities to come in and spell some of the veteran guys. There's a lot of looks that the veteran guys don't need to see, and when those come up, we try to make sure the young guys are in. For if there's 6 plays in a period, we try to make sure they get in and get 2 or 3 of them, so they get a good look as to what's happening and get a chance for us to develop them. I do know that Travell stays after with the young guys, and just like he's done all since we've started, he had a group of them out working on their technique, working on the things that they need to have improved, and that's why you see the young guys be able to play for us, especially on the O-line.
Coach, you have the Keep Pounding shirt on today. We just heard some of the players reference that when it's coming to get to the win column this weekend, or whether it's a tough time that they're going through, but the Charlotte community as a whole really responds to that. What does it mean that this weekend is the Keep Pounding game for you guys?
Well, I think it's important just because it helps to bring awareness. I mean, this is our crucial catch game, our Keep Pounding game, and again, it's to help bring awareness to the many battles that are out there, be it some form of cancer or some form of illness or something. It's very strong in this community because of the history of it. That it goes back to Sam Mills, and the very famous speech he gave to the team prior to the Cowboys playoff victory, I should say. And pretty much those words do live on because it is our mantra, and we've had it, since I've been here. So I think it's really cool that we're trying to do something with it, and we're trying to get it out into the community.
Ron, just collectively, how did you feel about the practice performance today with this team getting on the field for the first time after Sunday? And obviously you guys have talked about trying to go full steam ahead and put that one behind you.
Pretty much so, just like you said. I thought the guys came out. We got together, broke the team down before we started practicing, and I thought their attitude was exactly where we needed. As I said, there are a lot of things that we talked about from the game in our meeting this morning. A lot of examples that were shown on the tape, and then told the guys these are things that we need to correct, and we moved on. And so quite honestly, from that point, the focus has been Tennessee. I thought they came out with the right type of attitude, the right tempo. Like I said, though, because of the rain, we had to take it inside, and I thought when we went inside, things sped up even more because the footing was so much better. It was a good atmosphere to be in practice, and you just saw the tempo grow because of the speed of the turf. And so I think that really helped to make for a good practice.
In that pre-practice huddle, what was your message before you broke?
Was going forward, more so than anything else. Hey, we talked about it, we're going to learn from it, and now it's time to take it and put it on the field, because you only do so much talking. Talking doesn't do anything for you. It's about your actions. And I know a lot of you guys know that Greg Olson spoke up, and I pretty much echoed the message was, and that guy's, hey, let's do something about it. So don't talk about it, let's do it. So I thought their tempo for practice was excellent.
We've heard so many times about Kyle through the past couple of weeks that he's resolute, he's calm, he doesn't get really high and low. But aside from him just on the football field, what have you learned about him as a guy, like as a person, these past couple of weeks, spending more time with him, interacting more with him? Is his experience on the field translating more to him personally too?
No, that's who he is. I mean, he really is. What you see on the field is what you see away from the field. He's very calm. He's very forward. He's the same guy. He's very steady as to who he is. It's interesting. I had an opportunity. He just said, "I should have known better." I mean, he took it out on himself, but he was in a very calm way. I mean, it's just I should have known better. I saw this, and but hey, I learned from him, Coach, and so that's all I can appreciate is that he's